Allah guards the revelation. Allah said in the verses that He protected His revelation. Let's examine this and see if it's true. All of us know that Muslims practice stoning to death for illegal sexual intercourse, but where is the order of Allah for the behavior? We will sexual intercourse, but where is the order of Allah for the behavior? We will look at Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 8, Book 82, Hadith 816. Reported by Ibn Abbas, Umar said, I am fretful that later a long time from now, the people might say, we cannot recognize the verses of the Rajam, stoning to death, in the Holy Book, and therefore, they possibly will go astray by leaving liability that Allah has revealed. Therefore, I confirm that the punishment of Rajam be practiced on him who commits illegal sexual intercourse, if he is already married and the crime is proven by witnesses or pregnancy or confession. Sufyan added, I have memorized this recitation in this way. Umar added, surely Allah's apostle exercised the penalty of Rajam, and so we are following him. What do we understand from this hadith? It's a very strong, approved hadith by all Muslims, with no exceptions. This would mean 1. There is a missing chapter or verses in the Quran. 2. Muslims couldn't put it in the Quran. 3. What Muslims say to us about knowing the Quran by heart is a false statement. If they knew what was missing, why didn't Uthman the Caliph add it in his Quran when he collected it and later on made it? This takes us to another point. We read in the interpretation of Al-Jalalain, Volume 1, p. 338. We promise to protect the book now and later from any corruption or adding or missing. As we see, the promise of Allah is not true, which makes the Quran a book of false promises and false prophecy. Where do we find the first verse revealed to Muhammad in the night of power? The Quran is not in a chronological order, but it is accepted by Muslims that it is Quran 96:1. Read in the name of Allah, the one who created. Didn't Allah call changing the location of verses a corruption? Let us see the proof in Quran verses 446, 513, and 541. First, Quran 446. From the Jews who changed the locations of words from its location and the claim that they did obey God. It's clear that the individual changing the location of the words is doing corruption. Do not forget that when the Quran was made, verse numbering or naming did not exist. Let us take a look at one more of the endless examples, Quran 5:3. I prohibited you to eat dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which hath been prayed the name of other gods than Allah, or which hath been destroyed by choke or by a violent blow, or by a horn hit, or by being beaten to death, or some which have been eaten by a lion, unless ye are able to butcher it before it dies, that which is sacrificed for the idols, or from which you claim an oath or divining of arrows, has no feathers or head. Today, those who reject Islam have given up all hope of your religion, yet fear them not, but fear me. Today I perfected your religion for you, completed my gracefulness upon you, and have selected for you Islam as your religion. However, if any is forced by hunger, not intentionally to transgression of my orders, Allah is indeed forgiving, most merciful. Look at this part of the verse, today I perfected your religion for you, completed my gracefulness upon you, and have selected for you Islam as your religion. As you see, it says, today Islam became perfect. But we have a problem here. If today Islam became perfect, then how can it be said in chapter 5:3? This is after today. There is no need for more chapters or verses in the Quran, but as we know there are more than 109 chapters after this one. Did someone add them? Or did someone move them, from being at the end of Quran to being placed at the beginning of the Quran? Furthermore, what does forbidden food have to do with perfection anyway? The Quran is an empty book that has a lot of missing teachings. If we would do an examination of the entire Quran, 90% of what Muslims practice is not even in it. As an example, in the entire Quran Allah forgot to inform the Muslims what the punishment is for kidnapping and raping. On top of that, the punishment for gays and lesbians in the Quran is totally different from what Muslims practiced in Muhammad's time until this day, including Muhammad himself. If we look at Quran 4:15-16, the punishment for homosexuality is not death. Rather, what Muslims practice today is the teaching of Muhammad, which is death, not what Allah said, which is jailing them in the case of women until they die, and insulting them in the case of men until they repent. The Quran even teaches a lot of things which Muslims cannot practice anymore, like in verse 11:114, where the Quran orders them to pray 3 times and do demonstrate the ordinary prayers at the 2 ends of the day and at the arrival of the night. The Quran never gives the definition for what the word zakat means, which is the part of the money the Muslims have to pay either from what they make from work or what they got from stealing from the Christians and the Jews. Muhammad did not forget how much his share was from stealing. He and Allah got a fifth, and the rest went to those who fought with him, the thieves. The Quran never said 1. How to do Hajj, 2. How to pray, 3. Where can we find in the Quran how to do ablution, washing, 4. How to fast, 5. When to fast, 6. When to stop fasting, 7. How much zakat to pay money to Muhammad's state. On the other hand, which verses are the abrogated ones? How can we know which ones to practice and which ones not to practice when the Quran is filled with both? This is one of the reasons for its confusion and misunderstanding. Quran 8:41 tells how the spoils of war were to be divided. And know that whatever ye take as spoils of war, the goods stolen from the kafir, the non-believers, the fifth thereof is for Allah, and for the messenger, and left for the poor men and orphans, of those who died by killing and fighting for Muhammad, and the needy. Later we find the Muslims accusing Muhammad of stealing some stolen red underwear, as in Quran 3:161, Usama translation 161, and it was not to a prophet to cheat in dividing the spoils, and whoever cheats will bring what he cheated, dishonestly gained, on the day of the resurrection. Then every soul will be paid what it has earned, and they will not be dealt with unjustly. Tafsir al-Jalalain, Surah al-Imran, elaborates on this verse of Quran 3:161. When Muslims started dividing the booty, some red velvet cloth went missing on the day of Badr, and some Muslims began to say, possibly the Prophet hid it for himself. The following was revealed: you should know, it is not for a prophet to steal. Imagine the apostles of Christ accusing him of stealing clothes. For sure this is impossible. This behavior would be expected from a criminal gang, not from men of God. But at the same time, this is telling us who Muhammad is and who are the men associated with him.